Space exploration is the use of astronomy and space technology to explore outer space. While the exploration of space is carried out mainly by astronomers with telescopes, its physical exploration though is conducted both by unmanned robotic space probes and human spaceflight space exploration, like its classical form astronomy, is one of the main sources for space science, while the observation of objects in space, known as astronomy, predates reliable recorded history. It was the development of large and relatively efficient rockets during the mid-20th century that allowed physical space exploration to become a reality, the world's first large-scale experimental rocket program was OPRAC under the leadership of Fritz von Hoppe and Max Waller during the late 1920s, leading to the first manned rocket cars and rocket planes, which paved the way for the Nazi-era V-2 program and US and Soviet activities from 1950 onwards, the Opel Rack program, and the spectacular public demonstrations of ground and air vehicles drew large crowds, as well as caused global public excitement as so-called rocket rumble, and had a large long-lasting impact on later spaceflight pioneers like E.G. Wernher von Braun. Common rationales for exploring space include advancing scientific research, national prestige, uniting different nations, ensuring the future survival of humanity, and developing military and strategic advantages against other countries. The early era of space exploration was driven by a leap-age race between the Soviet Union and the United States. The launch of the first human-made object to orbit Earth, the Soviet Union's Sputnik 1, on the 4th of October 1957, and the first moon landing by the American Apollo 11 mission on the 20th of July 1969 are often taken as landmarks for this initial period. The Soviet space program achieved many of the first milestones, including the first Irving being in orbit in 1957, the first human spaceflight, Yuri Gagarin aboard Vostok 1, in 1961, the first spacewalk by Alexei Lerov on the 18th of March 1965, the first automatic landing on another celestial body in 1966, and the launch of the first space station, Sabir 1, in 1971. After the first 20 years of exploration, focus shifted from one-off flights to renewable hardware, such as the Space Shuttle program, and from competition to cooperation as with the International Space Station, IS, with the substantial completion of the IS following STS-133 in March 2011. Plans for space exploration by the US remain in flux. Constellation, a Bush administration program for a return to the moon by 2020 was judged inadequately funded and unrealistic by an expert review panel reporting in 2009. The Obama administration proposed a revision of Constellation in 2010 to focus on the development of the capability for crewed missions beyond low Earth orbit, LEO, envisioning extending the operation of the IS beyond 2020, transferring the development of launch vehicles for human crew from NASA to the private sector, and developing technology to enable missions to beyond LEO, such as Earth-Moon LT, the Moon-Earth-Sun L2, near-Earth asteroids, and Photos or Mora orbit. In the 2000s, China initiated a successful manned spaceflight programs when India launched Chandrayaan-1, while the European URSAN and Japan have also planned future crewed space missions. China, Russia, and Japan have advocated crewed missions to the moon during the 21st century, while the European Union has advocated manned missions to both the moon and Mars during the 20th and 21st century from the 1990s onwards. Private interests began promoting space tourism and then fueled space exploration of the moon. See Google Lunar X Prize. Students interested in space have formed SEDS, Students for the Exploration and Development of Space. SpaceX is currently developing Starship, a fully reusable CR-type launch vehicle that is expected to massively reduce the cost of spaceflight and allow for crewed planetary exploration.